Matt Walsh responded to Jamel Hill, who said, I need so many people to understand this regarding Tyree Nichols. Bree Newsom Bass said, diversifying the police force doesn't end racism because racism is inherent to the organization of the institution and its daily operation. Racism is what policing is, which is true. It's not theoretically what it's supposed to be, but historically and in contemporary society, that's what policing has been. From slave catchers, which is asset extraction, okay, all the way to our modern day contemporary police departments. Okay? Yeah. Police did not always exist in the history of the United States of America. There originally were no police officers. There was no federalized unit either. Okay? You either had posses, which again upholded or were formed specifically to engage in slave catching or to enact white supremacist violence. Jamel Hill says, I need so many people to understand this regarding Tyree Nichols. Several of the police officers who murdered Freddie Gray were black. The entire system of policing is based on white supremacist violence. We see people under the boot of oppression carry its water all the time. And Matt Walsh, of course, with a brilliant take, the systemic racism superstition is unfalsifiable. Perhaps the reason why you find it to be unfalsifiable is because it's accurate. And there's really nothing you can say about it. So you just say it's too good of an argument, so it must not be true. If white people kill someone, it's white supremacist violence. If black people kill someone, it's white supremacist violence. Literally everything confirms Jamel's theory and nothing can ever disconfirm it. That's the scam. Now, realize that Mr. Black on Black Violence is not saying that this time. Notice how he's saying like, oh, well, it's black. If black people kill someone, why didn't he say black on black violence in this circumstance? Perhaps the reason why he didn't hit the regular black on black violence note that he normally would hit is because they're fucking cops. And he understands that when someone is a cop, it does not matter if they are black or white. Their job, as Jamel Hill and Bree Newsom Bass correctly pointed out, is to uphold a system of white supremacy. They're cops. Yes, Zero Knots, you are correct. I have actually talked about this, but it's been a long time, so you probably might not have ever heard me talk about this. You're missing a giant chunk about the origins of policing, dude. While policing in the South largely originated by slave patrols in the North, it was specifically created in Boston and expanded outwards by business owners lobbying to shift the burden of protecting capital onto the general population through tons of propaganda that most people still believe today. Yes, in areas like Boston, okay, in harbor towns specifically, police as an institution was created to protect trade, okay? That's precisely what they would do, which is still capital. Capital in the North was trade, okay? Assets. Capital in the South was slavery. Assets. That's it. That's their job. Their job was always to defend the wealthy and their assets. And they still do that. That's what the job of the police is. Both in its inception and also in contemporary society, police as an institution is there not to protect and serve the interests of the citizens, but instead to protect and serve the interests of capital. Here is Don Lemon, by the way. He's on the ground. That's how you know this shit is serious. They fucking sent Don Lemon out there.
That's when Sunday morning is when you first saw the video?
That's absolutely right.
And then when you saw it, what was your reaction?
I was outraged. It was incomprehensible to me. It was unconscionable. And I felt that I needed to do something and do something quickly. I don't think I've witnessed anything of that nature in my entire career.
Really?
Really.
That bad?
It was that bad.
What are we going to see then?
You're going to see acts that defy humanity. You're going to see a disregard for life, duty of care that we're all sworn to, and a level of physical interaction that is above and beyond what is required in law enforcement. And I'm sure that, as I said before, that individuals watching will feel what the family felt. And if you don't,
here's my prediction. I predict that we're going to see some horrific footage. Obviously, that's obvious. They've been saying that it's going to be horrific. I think that I think people are going to be understandably very frustrated, very angry. Things are going to burn down. And then both liberal media and conservative media are going to turn around and say, well, the cops did everything they were supposed to. They immediately acted out on the accountability. And yet these animals did not know how to react and still burn down buildings. And you will see additional funds being justified to police as they have, no matter what happens, whether you criticize the police, whether you say you want to suck and fuck them, they will still get the resources, all of the resources that are supposed to go to everything else. And I feel as though when all is said and done, they're still going to get more funds and nothing will change. It's additionally insane to me, again, that you have a police officer, a police chief, who's like, I'm 30 years in the force, like I've never seen this happen. I haven't looked into Memphis-specific data, but I know enough about cops from covering police and police brutality specifically, whether it be white victims of police violence or black victims of police violence. And in the past 10 years of just covering that, I've seen an endless amount of routine traffic stops that should not have ever happened, turning into genuine, life-threatening escalations of violence and sometimes death. So this idea that like a 30-year fucking police chief, like a tenured cop like this is like, oh, I've never seen violence like this. It's full of shit. They are trying to distance themselves from this individual act of violence. And in all those 10 years, I've never seen cops immediately before the fucking footage is released fire someone and then charge them, let alone all five. And people will turn around and say, oh, Derek Chauvin, lol. Derek Chauvin assassinated George Floyd in broad daylight in front of 40 different witnesses. The footage was already out before Derek Chauvin went into his fucking cruiser and went back home to eat donuts. Okay? In this circumstance, there were no other eyewitnesses, only body camera footage. So it's yet another situation where cops could very easily just hide the evidence. Okay, but obviously they can't. They have to show the family body camera footage, right? And they saw it and they knew what the reaction was going to be. I think it's going to be horrific. I think it's going to be brutal because that's what every fucking police interaction looks like, especially when there is a death on the other end. And as someone who has seen countless hours of police brutality, I'm telling you, I think the reason why they're saying that this is like unique or anything like that is because, yes, it is uniquely torturous, most likely. But also they are trying to distance themselves from the actions of these 5 police officers because of the inevitable backlash. The family press charges, absolutely. Are you out of your mind? Yes.
Then you're not a human being. And we all are human beings. And I think there will be a measure of sadness as well.
Here's a short list of misconduct from the Memphis Police Department. December 2013, Officer Matthew Ashmore arrested after child pornography was found on his telephone. It's September. And remember, misconduct that you hear about is above and beyond. Misconduct that you hear about now is not necessarily misconduct that raises the bar in 2013 to actually get someone fired. So remember that. What you are seeing now And even now, it doesn't fucking meet that bar in a lot of instances, okay? Just the tip of the iceberg, okay? Something to remind yourself. Officer Van Stacks convicted of drunk driving and weapons charges. Officer Alex Bard allowed to plead guilty to reduced charges as a result of reckless behavior. In August 2012, he was driving his official vehicle at more than 90 miles an hour without lights or sirens. He struck another car, killing a woman and her daughter. He was sentenced to 6 months in jail and 6 years on probation, but will not serve the entire 6 months. He murdered someone with his car. A woman and her daughter. 2 people. The unit that murdered Tyree Nichols was created in 2021. We're about to see what the radical centrist push to hire 100,000 more cops nationally looks like in action. The system is fundamentally and morally indefensible. Yep. Convicted of drunk driving and weapons charges. Was fired when he was charged with soliciting sex from an underage prostitute. Was charged with forcing men to have sex with them in exchange for not arresting them on outstanding warrants. Hundreds of policemen call in sick to apparently protest the city reducing pay by 4.6% while giving millions to private entities. On July 5th, 181 called in sick. The following Monday, 550 did not come to work. It's called the Blue Flu. 2014 press reports indicated that the department had 11,000 untested rape kits on hand. Remember, though, like, you know, the media fucking loves women, right? The system defends women, right? Remember, feminism rules the nation, right? 2018, MPD was sued by the ACLU of Tennessee for violating a 1978 decree by surveilling on citizens for political purposes. White MPT Sergeant Timothy Reynolds admitted in the trial that he pretended to be a black man named Bob Smith on Facebook to spy on activists participating in the Black Lives Matter movement. Oh my God, I wonder how many of these fucking idiots we ban. Like, literally all the goddamn time in this fucking dumbass chat. It's not even, come on, it's not a joke, chat. There are probably people in here right now. You know what they sound like. Anyway. One of them being journalist and founder MLK 50 Wendy C. Thomas. Judge John Phillips McCullough ruled that MPD was guilty of violating the decree. In late 2020, retired MPT homicide investigator Eric Kelly was charged with having a sexual relationship with a murder suspect. Christ. And, you know, that's what you see above. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's what actually counts as police misconduct. And until recently, murdering someone on the job as cops was not really considered police misconduct. So that's one department from 2023 until now. Biden was just asked about Tyree.
With the nation watching this videotape and what could happen, what is at stake?
What's at stake is, first of all, innocent people's lives, number one. Number two, it has a lot to say and do with the image of America. It has a lot to do with whether or not we are the country we say we are, that we're a country of law and order and means by which we can peacefully protest and let the courts make their judgment. Thank you very much.
I mean, you can tell what he cares about the most. His statement yesterday was exactly the same shit, dude. They literally care about the fucking potential. They care about the potential unrest more than anything else. Every time some shit like this happens, there is so much attention on specifically the fucking the civil unrest that might happen as a consequence in the aftermath. Don't do it. Don't protest. Or protest, but not like that. Breaking. Video posted on Instagram by CHS Los Angeles, a local unhoused advocacy mutual aid group, seems to show LAPD already staging in downtown Los Angeles in preparation for protests tonight. The video of the Memphis police killing of Tyree Nichols releases soon. Yeah. I mean, this is like, do you think this is normal? Do you think this is how things should be? Seriously. Do you think this is how things should be? Where, like, you know, they just got to take it. We just got to take it on the chin, you know? Some people are going to die, inevitably. It has to happen. Cops have to get that kill. So, and then in the inevitable aftermath of that, people are going to fucking get mad once again. And, you know, you're going to have to deal with civil unrest. And we're paying for everything. We're paying for it top to bottom. Protests have already started in Memphis.